My name is Peter Crompton, and I'm here to give you a slightly different perspective on what festival opera does than you might have heard from the previous videos. I'm a scenic designer. I've worked for festival opera, for probably about 20 years. I've designed about 15 of their sets. And because I'm a visual person, I'm going to show you a lot of pictures. So first, we are going to look at some of the behind-the-scenes build of shows for festival opera. This one in particular is Turandot. And what you guys may not realize is that for every person on stage, there are one or two or perhaps many other people backstage that help tell the story that you are seeing when you go to an opera. Because my area is scenery, you're seeing lots of artisans putting together a festival opera show that are carpenters and painters and various other kinds of craftsmen, mold makers. But there are also lighting designers and costume designers and lighting techs and stitchers and stage managers and accompanists. So there's really a whole army of various different kinds of support staff that go into every opera you see. And one of the things that I like about festival opera is that even though they are not the largest company or the company with the most money, they go on to make really amazing shows, as you can see from this shot of Turandot all put together. Next, I'd like to show you guys some of the scenery that I've designed for festival opera over the years. We're starting off with the first show I did for them here, Don Pasquale. And something that you also may not know about designing scenery is that it's all about collaboration. I'm a painter and a sculptor, and one of the things I really relish about working in the theater, and particularly about festival opera, is all the other really creative people that go into making what you see. I design scenery, but every time I design something, I have costume designers, lighting designers, and of course directors and performers that I collaborate with. And together, we make something that is much more visually and emotionally coherent than I could ever come up with on my own. Every time I design a set, I run it by the technical director, who tells me I've spent too much money, the costume designer, who tells me, I really want the singers to stand out. And of course, the director, who helps me come up with all these crazy ideas, and the lighting designer, who really helps bring the whole thing to life. Here again, you can see Turandot, some of the many ways that everybody has enhanced the final show. Now, one thing that is really great about festival opera is nobody ever tells me when we are starting the process of making an opera to do it the way they did it at the Met or at some other company. We try to tell the story in the best way possible, which is to say we are going for say, for example, Seven Deadly Sins. We're going to try and make the best version of that opera that has ever been put on. And we may or may not succeed. That's clearly up to your guys' decision. But I think that impetus towards excellence is really great for such a little company. And, we're not sort of recycling other people's ideas. They're all come directly from our minds and hearts. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about is a particularly great experience I had in making the last opera, Susanna. What I want to do is just kind of walk you through the process of what it looks like to be a scenic designer and put something up for this company. So the first step is research. So I'll sit down with the director, in this case, Mark Foringer, show him a bunch of pictures, see which ones he reacts to. Then next, I move on to rough sketches, again with the director. Every step of the way, I'll be showing him his stuff or her stuff and getting feedback. We move on to more final sketches. Try to work out colors. In this case, we bring in the lighting designer and the costume designer to get their feedback. Then the next step is models, or in this case, virtual models, which I make just so everybody can see what my idea for how the show should look is, and give me their feedback. A lot of times, their feedback is invaluable because we are sort of trying to tell the story with a lot of designers go for like big splashy special effects. But I always want to make sure that the emotion of that the singers are trying to convey that what I do supports that. So one of the singers earlier told an interesting story in this series of interviews of how during rehearsal we really wanted to figure out what the primary emotions that she had were, so that we could convey that with the weather that was behind her. And you can see also other images here have a really strong emotional resonance where we're trying to support the story that the director and the actors, singers are trying to sell. And I think that's one of the things that makes this company unique, is that sort of top to bottom collaboration that makes the whole show more powerful and integrated. It's very difficult to do that in a really big company, and in a really small company, it's difficult for other reasons. When you come to choose who you're going to donate money to at the end of the year, think of Festival Opera. They do a lot with very few resources and have a lot of heart. And, speaking for myself, I'm tremendously honored and gratified to have helped create some of the stories that they are telling. So I hope you've enjoyed this little peek sort of backstage into maybe a world of opera you didn't know before, and I'll see you later.